W5, 8:30 Tuesday on 10.
Victoria turns on Barry from Bendigo.
Tonight,
I realise and accept fully that my actions were naive and stupid.
I'm very disappointed and sorry for my actions.
it's just not cricket. What the bookies bought 4 years ago, Australia is paying for today. Hello, I'm Bill Woods. This is Sports Tonight, and there's more. A fair way to win. The Aussies go after an edge in the President's Cup. Bitten ears and body bags. Just tonight, it's the kind of scandal Australian cricket has never witnessed before. Mark Waugh and Shane Warne today admitting they had accepted money from an Indian bookmaker during Australia's tour of Sri Lanka in 1994. They were fined $10,000 and $8,000 respectively by the ACB in 1995. Today, the explanation.
During the course of the 1994 tour of Sri Lanka, I was approached by a man who asked me to provide routine information before Australia's one-day matches on that tour. He asked me general questions about what the Australian team expected from the pitch and weather conditions, but at no stage did I discuss team tactics or line-up. In return for speaking to me on a handful of occasions, he offered me $6,000, which I accepted. At the time, I did not see the implications of offering such information, which I thought to be mundane and exactly the same as any pre-match media interview. In early 1995, the Australian Cricket Board asked me if I had ever provided information to a bookmaker, and I replied that I had done so the previous year. I was fined $10,000 and paid my fine immediately. I have never spoken to the bookmaker again since. In the period since I was fined, the full implication of the possibility that I may be linked to actions much more sinister than those I innocently undertook in 1994 had become very clear to me. Even while this matter has not been made public until now, I realise and accept fully that my actions were naive and stupid. I regret them entirely and wish to restate in the strongest possible manner that I've always given my best for my country in every match I've played, and I believe my record, particularly in the last 3 years, fully supports this statement. I must emphasise I have never been involved in match fixing or bribery on cricket matches at any stage in my career. Thank you.
During the course of the 1994 tour of Sri Lanka, before we went to Pakistan, I was approached by a man who I later discovered to be a bookmaker from India. He gave me $5,000 and in return he spoke to me on several occasions for pretty routine questions like what the pitch was like, what the weather conditions were. I never at any stage told him about team tactics or selection. As the captain of Victoria and senior Australian cricketer, I regularly provide much more detailed information to the media before any match I play. However, I realised that I was very naive and stupid. I was fined $8,000 by the ACB and paid the fine immediately. I've had no contact with the bookmaker since, and I'm very disappointed and sorry for my actions. I've always strived to do the best I can for my country, and I think that the way I play and conduct myself on the field shows I'm a cricketer with integrity, who has never given anything but his best. I deeply regret this action off the field and wish to state that playing for Australia is the greatest honour I've had in my cricketing career. Like Mark, I must emphasise that I have never ever been involved in any match fixing or bribery in any cricket matches at any stage of my career. Thank you.
The players have said about as much as they have to, but there's a long list of people having plenty more to say, including the Prime Minister. And as the embarrassment widens, so does the grin on a disgraced former Pakistani captain, Salim Malik, who says he will sue Warne and Waugh for defamation.
It's a scandal that's already gone further than anyone wanted.
Australian cricket was reeling on Tuesday from news that two of its star players...
It's been revealed that the world's greatest spin bowler, Shane Warne, was one of two members of the Australian...
But now the Warne-Waugh saga is about to go beyond expectation. Former Pakistani captain Salim Malik has promised to sue the pair for defaming his character after both players accused Malik of match fixing earlier this year. Malik has said he is so happy he can't find words to explain it. The whole of
anyone any good to talk about it. I mean, the incident was dealt with by the Australian Cricket Board. The players were dealt with at the time. I don't think it needed to be necessarily aired.
But not all of their peers are willing to discuss the matter.
Can we answer some questions on the Test match?
It's basically, the answer to that is it's got nothing to do with me. It's between those particular players and the Australian Cricket Board.
Mike Coward is one of the world's most respected cricket commentators. He was on the '94 tour and many others. We spoke earlier tonight. Well, Mike, thanks for your time. To be courteous, I won't tell anyone how long you've been covering this glorious game of ours, but have you seen anything like this before?
It's very generous of you to make the concession first up, Bill. It's a distressing time for Australian cricket because the image of Australian cricket has suffered, and perhaps very, very seriously. Over the last 15 or 20 years, the sphere of influence in the game has changed enormously, and countries all around the world are looking to Australia for inspiration and for direction for matters on and off the field. And certainly the image of Australian cricket has suffered badly today.
In their own words, naive and stupid. What do you think?
Well, certainly for two high-profile players, they were very foolish indeed. And, of course, they were quite senior players at the time that this incident took place. They are not the only ones who have been naive in this matter. Of course, the Australian Cricket Board and the International Cricket Council themselves have been quite naive, I believe, in being reluctant to make the revelations public.
Yes, well, in hindsight, suppressing the story for 4 years has certainly not helped that situation, has it?
No, that was foolish, very foolish indeed. I'm surprised. One would have thought over the last 10 or 15 years that there would have been a greater understanding, particularly of the workings of the media in cricket, that the Australian Cricket Board would have been aware of the dangers of suppressing this sort of information.
Well, you have a knowledge of subcontinental cricket that's as deep as anyone else's. What do you think the reaction will be over there? Because they've copped a lot of heat lately.
They've copped a tremendous amount of heat, and they resent a lot of the heat that they've copped, I might tell you. They know that things are amiss on their own ground. They know that. But they've always railed against the thought or the prospect that it's only they that are at fault. They've long believed that there are other people involved and that it is an issue that goes a lot wider than just the Indian subcontinent. And I think now we're seeing why they should feel that way. Tremendous embarrassment for Australian cricket all round.
Finally, Mike, the ICC, you mentioned them. They're having a meeting in January. What would they do, do you think, if anything?
I know they want to put a tribunal in place, the ICC, in January, to take more power, to be more active or proactive in this, that they've allowed it to fester for so long has caused irreparable damage to the game. But there are so many serious issues at stake now, and this one is doing such damage to the game that I think the ICC has to act. They must form a tribunal, and they've got to take strong action.
Well, Mike, I know you're on your way there pretty soon. Enjoy the test in Adelaide as much as you're allowed to under the circumstances, and thank you very much for your time.
It's nice being with you, Bill.
Mike Coward. As if the Australian team hadn't worries enough, wicketkeeper Ian Healy is in doubt for the third test with a thigh injury. ACB officials have confirmed Healy will face a fitness test tomorrow morning at Adelaide Oval. West Australian keeper Adam Gilchrist is flying to Adelaide as the standby should Healy fail that test. Meantime, the state of Adelaide's wicket has forced English selectors to delay naming their team for the match.
At the moment, the wicket, I mean, it's not fit to play on because of the amount of water it's had on it. But by Friday, it'll be a good wicket, and then we'll pick the right team accordingly.
Another concern for the tourists is bowler Dominic Cork, also a doubtful starter. He has a bout of the flu.